I created this directly in Figma. They just recently released shaders, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your own custom shaders in a few simple steps. So let's dive in. So to demonstrate how these shaders work, I have three images, and we're going to start by using one of Figma's pre-built shaders as an example, and then I'm going to show another Figma shader that I like, and then for this third image, we're going to create one from scratch. So let's start with this image here on the left. You just want to select this image, and you go to the right, you go to Effects, and you press Shader, and now you can see this window popped up. And here you'll see some of the shaders that I've been exploring and experimenting with. If you haven't had or created any shaders, you're going to see this, which is Figma's pre-built shaders. And these are pretty sweet. You can apply these to the images and you can see how they look. So I just applied this dither shader, and you can see I can make these adjustments here. So I can increase and decrease the size. I can change the levels, the brightness of the image, contrast. You can do mono, and then you can also change the threshold there. So it's pretty sweet. You can just stylize these images to use on posters, to use in marketing materials, and all sorts of things like that. So it's pretty sweet. I'm going to just show you one more example. So this is from a video that I just recorded on Figma Motion. If you haven't seen that video, check it out here. But let me show you really quickly this other one that I really like. So I'm going to change this to a dark background, and then I'm going to select the image. I just removed the image using Figma remove background, which works really well. So I recommend you use that if you want to remove any backgrounds from your imagery. So I'm going to select this, and I extended the kind of the frame of the image. And we're going to go back to effects. We're going to hit shader again and outlines. This one I really love. It added these outlines for me here. And what I can do now is go to gradient, and here I can change the gradient of these outlines. So let's do something like blue to a very light blue, or maybe too dark. Nah, let's do light blue. That looks cooler. So I can do that. I can increase the count. I can also increase the threshold where it's gonna kind of go over the image, which that looks kind of cool. You can change the thickness of the strokes, the spacing between them. So really cool for different kind of like brand explorations, applying these to your imagery, just creating unique images when you do branding or posters or visuals. So let's just explore one more here. So let's do this gradient map here. That looks pretty creepy, but you can do all kinds of really cool things with these. Right now, I'll show you how to create your own shader from scratch. You can do this with different entry points. One way is when you select this image, you'll see a little icon here. And one more thing before we dive into this, if you don't see some of these options, you might need to get the Figma beta app. And when you download that, it'll give you these new features that are rolling out. And what's really cool is Figma right now is giving you free credits to generate these things and create these things. So feel free to go wild and create all sorts of things. But moving on, what I want to do for this image here is create a motion blur. Since it's a soccer player, he's running, we want to add some motion blur to it. So the pre-built shaders, they don't have a motion blur, and that's fine. We're going to create a new one. And there are actually three ways to create a shader. One, you can tap this little icon here, agents, and this will open a prompt box. You can start typing in here, or if you want, you can click on the effects here in shader. You'll see this little plus button, or on the left side, you also have a little agents tab. So multiple ways to get there. I'm just going to use this for this example. And what I'm going to do is just explain to the agent what kind of shader I want. So please create a shader that gives me the ability to add motion blur. I want to be able to change the angle of the blur and want to make progressive blurs. So that's all I'm going to type. Now we're going to hit enter, and we're going to let the agent do its work. Alrighty, now that the agent has done its work, you see this little question mark? This means it either needs some help or some more context. So we're going to select this, and we're going to see what it says here. By the way, you can always go to this agent tab on the left, which opens it up in this chat here. So it says, which additional controls would you like in the motion blur effect? Fall off curve, choose how the blur transitions, linear, smooth, ease, or sharp. Blur sample count, control quality versus performance. Blur color tint, shift the color of blurred areas. Let's do fall off curve and blur sample count. And we're going to hit submit, and now it's going to go back to building our custom shader. What's also cool is if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I can fire up another shader, so you don't have to do just one task at a time. So I'm going to hit plus here, and now we're just going to do the same thing. Create an old-timey shader that looks like a old TV that has noise and gives me the ability to add those old school lines that go across the TV. And now I have two of these going at once, so I can check back in a second once these are done. Alrighty, so this one looks like it has a question as well. So let's go back to this. Which parameters should this old TV effect expose as controls? So it has all of these options. Let me just read through them real quick. I mean, these are pretty sweet. I'm just gonna select these, hit go. Let's see what it does. And let's go back here. See this little check mark? This means that the shader is created. So now I can hit this little check mark. It set it kind of it built it already here, and now I can just press apply. Check this out. How sweet is this? I already have this shader built. Now this shader is also going to be my created by you motion blur if you ever need it. But look at this. I can select it, open up this shader, and I can adjust how I want the blur, the angle, the strength. I mean, that's too cool. You can just create all kinds of shaders that you want. And if you do create this and you want to make some adjustments, changes to this shader, add more features, you just press this little icon. It's going to take you back to chat. You just prompt it and you just keep, iterating until it's ready. Now let's see what it did here. I'm going to select this. We're going to hit apply, and now check this out. Another shader. Let's say I want to have more of these lines. I don't want to just have one. So let's hit this. Let's go here. I want to have the ability to create more of these roll bars and just create repetition down the screen, not just have one. Can you give me an option, a slider, or a count to increase or decrease the amount of these lines on the screen? We're just going to hit submit and see what happens. So you don't have to use complex language. You don't have to be super ultra precise and specific. Just work with the agent, tell it what you want, and it's going to create you something pretty sweet. So while we wait for that, what I want to show you, there's also not just the shaders, but there's also image fills that you can apply. So we're going to go here, we're going to press plus, and you'll see this new icon here, shader. And these are slightly different. They're kind of overlays for the images, but you can see these different options here, which you can overlay on the image. So give those a try as well. And you can create these and customize them in the same way. But all right, it looks like this is done. So let's see, let's hit apply now. And let's see if it added more. Yep, look at that. Now I can add more if I want. We could change the position. And the cool thing is with this, in the motion tutorial that I recorded, you can animate these. So you can, create this kind of animation directly in Figma. The one thing that I would change to this also is just add the ability to change the how intense the roll bar is, so make it like less opaque. But I mean, this is pretty awesome. But yeah, so as you can see, it's very easy to create these shaders. Go out there, experiment, create your own shaders, and see what you can come up with. If you enjoyed that video and you want to support the channel, please subscribe, drop a like. Let me know down below in the comments what kind of videos you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.